If you're not investing in 2026 into AI, by 27, you're going to be lost. And you're going to spend thousands of dollars just to hire a whole team when you could be doing this right now and learning and studying it for much cheaper.
Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You are made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
Hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, I'm so excited. Today's show is going to be so amazing, and that is because of our incredible guest. Liana Zavo is a media specialist, branding expert, PR strategist, and AI business consultant. She's the founder of ZavoMedia PR Group, an international PR and branding agency, and ZavoVentures, a VC PR hybrid firm supporting early-stage startups with legal readiness, fundraising, and strategic communications. A member of the Forbes Business Council and contributor to Entrepreneur Media, Liana helps entrepreneurs amplify their voices, leverage AI, and scale with confidence. Y'all, put your hands together for Liana Zavo! Hey, Liana. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It is so great to have you here today.
Amazing.
Awesome. So, Liana, let's hop right in. I know that there is so much valuable information that you have to share with our audience that I can't wait for them to hear not only your story, but how you got to where you are today and how you help people. So let's get started and on the journey of becoming this boss that you are. Tell us what inspired you on this path into media and founding ZavoMedia PR Group.
Well, Renee, it all goes back to that little girl that wanted to speak up, to be seen and to be heard. I've aspired, to be like my grandmother. And I always say that she really instilled those little moments in my life, storytelling moments where I said, I love to explore more of that. And it all happened when I was about, I would say 8-9 years old. And I said to myself, if she can be a political journalist in Russia, I can also become a journalist, communications expert in my own right. And why not? But life did not turn out that way. I was swayed from my dream and I got married at a very young age. I was 18, had my son at 19. And life really took a different toll on me. I went to college, but I dropped out because I knew that I couldn't pursue PR. I was swayed from that dream. My mother was she's like, look, I think you should do something that's more risk adverse and not travel the world as much. Because when you are a journalist, my grandmother used to travel the world all over Russia. And I was really pissed off. I said, why not me? I'm much younger. It's a new generation. But, I had to comply. And I said to myself, well, if I can't pursue what I wanted at that time, and I spent 3.5 years in college, then I'm going to drop out of the speech pathology program and let me pursue, life, the hard knocks, school of hard knocks. So I got this, I went to live life, and I slowly and surely understood that if I'm not going to speak up, if I'm not going to have a voice, then no one is going to hear my story. No one is going to understand the value that I bring. And I started rebuilding my life slowly and built brick by brick, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, Renee, losing everything after your divorce. It was a moment where, women get stripped from their identity. You grieve. And I had to basically bury that side of my personality, where I said, that Liana no longer exists. And so I went and did a lot of things. I had a lot of jobs. My very first job was when I was 16. I sold glasses, and I was in sales and and I was a consultant, and I loved the designer world. After my divorce, I went back into sales. I sold cars.
Wow.
I did a lot of things, and I wasn't afraid to work. I wasn't afraid to take the leap, I would say, and find people along the way. I said, if I'm going to make it, I'm going to have to learn every type of job, sales, consulting, in order to get to the level that I want. And I always saw myself, in front of a big audience, women listening to me, men listening to me, the transformation that I have in my life. I mean, Renee, we all have to transform. We all have to go through a transformation to become the best version. And that is what I'm always fetching, the next best version of myself. And so I got into life insurance. I have my Series 6 and 63. I worked for New York Life and Guardian. And then I went into real estate. I got my license there. So again, sales and in different ways, right? Understanding, okay, well, this perspective, am I into this? But it all had one thing in common. The common denominator was storytelling. Right. And that's what I was fascinated by. How can I tell your story? How can I tell my story so that people can trust me? Because at the end of the day, Renee, if I'm not connecting with my audience on an emotional level, they won't trust me. Right. It's all about telling them, look, this is what I had to go through. You're not alone. I know what it is to pivot. And so my pivots led me to amazing relationships because they could relate to my story. And I wasn't afraid to tell my story authentically. And I then started my concierge firm when I was only 25. I said this to myself, I love to style women. I want to style women for charities, galas, because I have a sense of style. Why not help women and men as well present themselves as the authority when they enter the room? Because when you enter the room, that's a story on its own, right? People can come up to you and say, hey, I love that dress, or that. So it's a conversation starter. And my job was to create that conversation starter, because the image, for me, I'm obsessed about image. I'm obsessed about your reputation. And so it's how you carry yourself in the room, and that's what's going to stick. And people, people remember the way you, not really what you say, but how you look, right? It's not about it's really like, that's what it is, though. They will judge based on the way you look. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't make that presence, unfortunately, you're not going to be remembered. And so for me, it was always important to look, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the brightest, right? I'm sure there are many more people in my industry that can do a better job than I do. But I'll tell you what I'm great at, and what I can say I'm the best at, is that I show up when I don't feel like showing up. I'm consistent. I'm visible. I speak about my work on top of, from the top of I shout about my work and my accomplishments from the top of the roof. I'm so excited about what I do. I'm proud about what I do. And so for me, that is the most important thing, that you need to step into your role and not be afraid to really showcase, hey, yes, we all had our moments of growth and challenges, and I'm still growing, still challenging myself, but don't be afraid to share your story. When I tell my story, hey, my very first job out of college, when I dropped out, was selling cars. People were like, oh my God. But yeah, I'm not afraid to say that. And when I started my PR agency, was really simple. A woman recognized me, and now we're in Women's History Month, where, this is amazing. It resonates. A woman that I was dressing, my client that I styled, was so amazed by the way I made her feel. And someone else in that room where I was styling was at Bergdorf Goodman that time. Those of you who don't know Bergdorf Goodman, it's one of the biggest and actually the most renowned, I would say, malls in the city, but it's like the only luxury mall. And so So I styled her, and another woman kind of overheard, and she says, "Oh my God, I love the way you made your client feel. If you can make my brand feel the same way, you're hired." I said, "What's your brand?" "I have a skincare line." I said, "Well, I don't sell skincare. I don't even know how to approach that." She says, "Look, you made her feel a certain way. I want you to take the same emotions and make my brand feel the same way." And that just hit me. The way you make people feel is your brand. And that stuck with her. And she says, "I don't care what you do. Just bring those emotions over and sell my brand to women." I said, "Fine, let's do it." You know what? I followed my gut. I said, people are not just put on your path for no reason. There is a reason to everything and everyone. And so let's see where this is going to take me. And I became her media visionary. And at that time, Renee, since I was so much obsessed about storytelling, and because of my grandmother, that thought never left my mind, knowing that I one day will have my own PR agency, knowing that one day I will tell people's stories, founder stories, and storytelling and really combine them together. And so I was applying to different agencies, PR agencies, and I was rejected from all of them. And due to one thing: "Oh, you're a college dropout." But nobody cares about soft skills, how you're personable, how do you communicate, how do you use leverage, storytelling techniques, being ambitious and hungry. All of those are things that cannot be taught in college, right? And so I had that hunger and that ambition, and still do. I feel like I'm always a student of life. And I started working for her. She introduces me to her PR agency. Meanwhile, I was rejected from all 5 of them. She says, "I have a PR agency I work with." That for me was like a light bulb moment, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And so she introduces me to them and says, "Look, she'll be my point of contact here in America. I'm in Romania, and anything will be going through her." So I started working with this PR agency, and I told them, "Look, I'm going to be very honest with you. After like a few months, I told them I want to open up my own PR agency." And at that time, my family was building a restaurant in New York City on the Upper East Side. I come from the hospitality industry. So they're building a restaurant, high-end restaurant. And I said, "Look, the very first client I'll give you is my restaurant, my family's restaurant, but it's under one ultimatum, right? The ultimatum is as follows: you're going to teach me the ropes of PR, and I'm going to give you these clients that I know that are high net worth individuals or businesses." They agreed. And so one thing led to another. My family hired them as the PR agency. I started learning more, and I started sending more clients to them. And we ended up working together for a few years. And then I said to myself, well, now it's time for me to go on my own. I have what it takes. I want to go on my own. And that's what happened. I started understanding that now is a time for me to step into my power, step into my role. And even if I don't know everything, I will learn as I go. I will meet the right people, as long as I am, doing the right thing and having the right intentions, and I'll meet the right people.
Wow. Liana, what a journey. Holy camole. You have been through so much, and I absolutely love your story. Love your story. We are like kindred spirits, even going back to being teen moms. I mean, you and I like right here. And I know exactly what that's like, kind of having these plans for your life and then having things kind of shift midway, and you have to kind of pick up yourself by your bootstraps and say, okay, well, that didn't work out right now, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I still have this amazing grandmother who I saw model for me what it looks like to be amazing, traveling the world and having this exciting life. And I'm still going to keep that back here while I still do what I have to do to take care of my family, whether it's a husband or even after the divorce and taking care of your child. I know exactly what that's like. And so I know that intestinal fortitude that you had to get to where you are today. And I'm so proud of you. First of all, let me say that. And excited for you that you have taken your dreams, you haven't shut them down, you still continue to do what you had to do to to take, not only take care of your family, but then continue to nurture and feed that initial desire that you had to help people tell their stories. And I agree with you that people cross our paths. It's not an accident. People come into our lives, there's a thing, for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it all serves a purpose, whether it's for today, for you, or for tomorrow for somebody else. And so thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Truly inspirational. And I'm just so excited for your future and what it holds, because the impact you're having even today is so incredible. And I'm thrilled that our audience gets to hear it firsthand from you, you know, what it takes and what you had to go through. And if you could get through it, you give them hope that they can get through it too, and they can do the same thing and have their voice be heard. They don't have to be silent. They don't have to be in the shadows. Everyone has a story to tell. And it's amazing that you give them that platform and the resources to be able to do it. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I know I can't believe how quickly time is going by. But as we're talking about you and how you support women and how you help people tell their stories, do you think was the defining moment that showed you the impact of amplifying voices? And then tell us how you actually do that.
The defining moment, I would say, was when I started telling my story and I saw how many women resonated and said, oh my God, I went through the same thing. How can I be so brave and really step into the light? And it's one thing to tell your story, but actually follow through and not be afraid to tell it over and over and over until you really build a brand for yourself. You know, it's important that you have to understand that storytelling builds brands, personal brands. That's why if you don't want to be replaceable, and everyone is replaceable, but the one thing that's never going to be replaceable is your personal brand, because that's the energy you carry in your personal brand, because people will always remember, this is what she stands for. She stands for value. She always brings value. She stands for authenticity. She stands for that truth, and she stands for consistency, right? I'm always consistent in what I do. I always show up. And that is what really, kind of defined what I do, because a lot of women, especially during COVID, we're all doing the, similar thing, all facing the same thing. We're all shut down. But I started knocking on some, impressive doors, I have to say. And those doors opened because I had nothing to hide, nothing to fear. I said, look, let's get on this call and let's talk. Let's talk about some things that are happening now. And you would never believe, like, I was never on social media before COVID. Everything was off social media for me. I've never gained one client off social media. I never even knew how to do business on social media. It was all in person for me, and that's what happens when you find something like COVID, for example, that happened. For me, it wasn't like I wasn't afraid. I wasn't in fear like everyone else was, like thinking, oh my God, are we going to die tomorrow? And I know that so many people did. But for me, I said, well, what can I do to double down on my brand and not, and utilize this moment? And that's what I always tell women. Look, we're all going to have some challenges, but double down on your story, double down on your personal brand, because that's what's going to set you apart. Whether you are an employee, working for an employer, whether, you are your own founder, or whether you're transitioning from a corporate to your own venture. You always want to tell your story. You always want to put yourself out there, no matter how much it hurts. You got to say it. You got to say it, because sometimes women, what I see is they're sabotaging themselves. They're afraid to be judged. They're afraid to say, well, I don't know how I'm going to be looked at. I'm afraid that they're going to look down at me. So I always tell women, like, it doesn't matter. Your story is only going to propel you forward, no matter how painful it is. The more pain, actually, the better it is, because you can resonate with more people on an emotional level.
That's right. That's right. 100%. I agree with you. And like I said, everything that happens in our life serves a purpose. There's nothing that we go through that doesn't end up turning out for our own good. And that might sound really terrible for some people who've been through some traumatic things. And I'm not trying to negate that or trying to make light of it. I understand it. But even the most horrible things can be turned around, and you can use them instead of as something to hold you down, something to fuel you to make an impact in a place that you never even thought you would. But because of that experience, now you have a more passionate fervor about how you deliver even that story. Does that make sense?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So yes, I am with you 100%. So as we talk about your VC company, ZavoVentures, and the PR hybrid approach, what makes ZavoVentures model different from traditional venture firms?
Yeah, I'm definitely pioneering this. It came to me 2 years ago. I said, I have to do something. I need to find a way where I can help women tell their stories in a way that they can secure more capital. How do I go about this? How do I step into this new role of mine? I mean, had never been in investments. I don't really know that side. So I had to learn and really quickly understand how I can bridge that gap. And so I was invited to speak in Singapore. A global business show invited me, flew me over there, and I met my LPs over there. And so these partners, I was walking around, kind of working the room like I always do, networking. Hi, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I'll be speaking on stage. I'm a keynote speaker. Please join me. And what do you do? What do I do? And so, one thing led to another. I said, look, this is what I really am looking forward to. I want to disrupt that 2%. Women deserve to get more funding. And I want you to be on board. And sure enough, I went to a few of them, and two of those partners said, yes, we actually will love to support your vision. Let's talk more. And so I had to foster the relationship. And 2 years later, 6 months ago, I launched my VC PR hybrid approach and how I help women fund their startups. Yeah. And so we are in health tech, we are in fintech, SaaS, we're getting into media tech more now. And the verticals are interesting because these verticals that I choose are those verticals that I want to learn more about, right? I'm super passionate about health. So I got into health tech. I'm super passionate about fintech, so anything that I'm passionate about, that's what I like to get into.
I love that. That deserves hand claps. Congratulations to you for all of and 6 months ago actually starting your firm. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And so one of the things that you mentioned while you were talking was how you went to this conference, this giant conference in Singapore where they flew you out and you just started working the room. And you said, I just went up to people, said, hey, how you doing? I'm such and such, and this is what I do. Who are you? What do you do? Can you tell us a little bit more for those founders who have a difficult time networking and trying to meet people and develop relationships, especially in a big room like that? How do you do that?
Well, it all comes back to what I used to do, right? Sales and, not being afraid to talk to people. And if you are someone who is not familiar with this type of landscape, say that, and I'll tell you one thing, I work with a lot of clients that are much older than me, who are attorneys, doctors, and when they see how I work the room, when I invite them, they're like, we can't do that. They're very risk adverse. We're shy. We want to come to them. Let me get a drink in my hand. I need a drink to come up to someone. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. We're not drinking. For me, it's a natural high that I have. I love, again, it comes down to storytelling. When I network, I don't just say, I don't talk. It's not a small talk. Say, hey, what do you do? I kind of scope it out, kind of see before I even approach it. I see what they're wearing. I compliment them on what they're wearing. For example, it's not like a dry hello. Oh, hey, I love what you're wearing. I think that brings out whatever, right? Right? You want to compliment them. And then you kind of get into the conversation and say, well, yeah, I feel like we have something in common, right? People relate to commonality. Right. Again, it's a psychology You need to play. Not that you're being like sneaky about it, but you need to know the art of networking involves psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then also
Yes.
you need to understand that when you have a commonality, they'll be like, oh yeah, tell me more. And then also it's about like, hey, tell me about the value that you're bringing in your business. Tell me about your story. Like what really
Mm-hmm.
made you start this? Not like, how was your day? Like, do you like the weather outside? No, we're not talking like that when we network. We really want to put them on a pedestal and say, well, I really love what you achieved. Like, and how can I bring value to you? If we part, like, if I'm not going to see you tomorrow, but I know that I really can bring value. What do you want today? How can I help you? And
Mm-hmm.
you introduce me to so-and-so. Can you do this for me? I'm here. I'm a master connector. If you
Wow.
bring value during your networking sessions, right? How can I, before selling them anything, before selling them any type of service, you're not selling, you want to just bring value. That's why your personal brand stems on value proposition. And I always tell my clients, just come off as a value. And then when you get on a call with them, be like, hey, I have something to offer you, because we all have something to offer, right? At the end of the day, if we're not selling them, you're not going to make anything happen, right? So with these LPs, I first had to kind of schmooze and do my thing and be like, by the way, I have an idea for you. How about you bite on that idea?
I love it. Those are golden nuggets to live by. If you are a founder of any business or any operation, you need something from other people, which if you're a business owner, you do. These are words of wisdom, golden nuggets. Oh my word, Liana, that was priceless. What you just shared right there. Because there are, like you said, your own clients even said, I can't do this. This is too hard. This makes me nervous. I need a drink to get through it. And you're like, oh no, we're not doing that. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing those amazing tips on how we can work a room of very powerful people without intimidation, just starting with a compliment. How easy is that, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
And not everyone knows how to compliment, really. They feel like, oh, it's above me,
Or beneath me.
Right.
Right. Well, we need to get over that quick and eat some humble pie and recognize that there are people who are worthy and deserving of all the compliments.
Exactly.
I love it. And so as we talk about, we're getting ready to wrap up, but we can't leave without talking about AI and PR.
Oh, yes.
So tell us, how is AI reshaping the future of branding and PR?
Oh my God, Renee, if I tell you what I've been doing the last few months, I've been working on my AI twin, which really took over my social media. I am saving time. I am not speaking like this. I'm not setting up a room. I literally created an AI twin. I cloned myself. And it is making me thousands of dollars every day. And I have to say that is the best thing out there. I sell my products through that AI twin because I bring so much value to my audience. And the only way to do it, right, is to say, hey, this is what I'm going through. I can relate to you. Drop the comment legacy and I will guide you. And that's why the Stand Store, people will see that. You'll see all my different services as to how to start your personal brand with value. How can people buy from you? But people will not buy from you if they don't resonate with you. And so this AI twin that I've created with my team, and we have different versions of me speaking in the car, speaking. People cannot tell. They're like, is this AI? Is this not? Is this her? Wow, what a beautiful car. I get so many compliments. I love your Royals voice. I'm like, that's not really me, but thank you so much. And so, you want to, right now, the way personal branding is shaped is by AI. You don't need to waste your time any longer to think about the script, to think about how you want to look like in your camera. Do I have the hair and makeup done? AI does everything for you. All you got to do is make sure that you are prompting it. And there is an art to prompting. the tools. And so right now you'll see the new whole thing will be like, hey, can I hire you to become my prompt engineer? And so if you don't know how to prompt right now in your journey as a business owner, you'll be hiring others to prompt for you, because I don't even know, because remember, every prompt can get you to the next level or it can break you. Prompting is so important. And again, in my stand store, you can see the prompts. I'm actually giving away prompts, 27 prompts for free. You can definitely check that out.
Yeah.
And AI for me is the agentic AI. The other thing, what I'm doing with my clients is installing AI into your business, which means that if you're sleeping and you have phone calls coming in, you got your AI receptionist answering those calls for you. Wow. And that will help you wake up in the morning. My schedule is booked. I'm like, wow. And the receptionist works 24/7, never gets tired, doesn't need coffee breaks. And that's what we do. We install that receptionist and check it out. Call the number, right? It's right there. You'll see on my social media. It's everywhere. The number starts with 347-745-8391. And that number is amazing because it helps. If I can get on a call, or I don't even have a receptionist. I don't need a receptionist, right? Because before I used to be like, oh, well, how do I go about this? And how can I have someone when I'm sleeping or when I'm away on vacation? Not to take away, but this is the reality. You need to stay with the trend, because if you're not learning about the trend, I'm sorry, it's not even a trend. It's actually what's taking over. It's revolutionizing. It's not going to go away tomorrow. Trends go away with time. This is not going away. This is how new business is going to be formed. And it's going to have this foundation of saying, okay, well, how can I 10x my visibility when I'm not present in my business? And that's why AI is amazing. If you're not on Claude, get on Claude. If you're not on Perplexity, Gemini. So what I do with my clients is as follows. As soon as we release something about them, say we are getting them into a top tier publication, right? We got you into a top tier and we got you on TV. Now, how do we feed that into LLM, a large language model? We have to make sure that we go into either Claude, which we use for all of our clients, and we prompt that with the segment about you. So people right now are searching more than ever than they're Googling.
That's right.
Googling is something that's going to be extinct. They're like, hey, we're not on Google. I'm not sure what's going to happen to Google. Perhaps maybe they're going to, one of the LLMs is going to buy off Google perhaps. But, the thing is, though, it's important to have visibility on Claude, on any other type of LLM, because people are looking for top leaders in this industry, top leaders who can help me with that. So that is what you need to do right now. If you're a founder listening to this and you are searching your name up on any of those LLMs and you are not showing up, or not enough information is showing up about you, it's time you start prompting it, and so the machine can start learning who you are when people are searching for your expertise, because you're a thought leader. Everyone is looking for a subject matter expert, a thought leader. Can they speak on my panel? Can they be at my conference, right? There are a lot of speaking bureaus that are looking for you, but if you're not visible, if you don't have that visibility, you don't exist, right? You must find a way, stop being lazy. And this is now more than ever. If you're not investing in 2026 into AI, by 27, you're going to be lost. And you're going to spend thousands of dollars just to hire a whole team when you could be doing this right now and learning and studying it for much cheaper.
That's right. That's right. Oh, so well said. So well said. And you and I are on the same page, seeing eye to eye right here.
Yeah.
I see you and I agree with you 100%. We need to get on board right now. Go do whatever you got to do. Break off all the chains that's holding you back because AI is here to stay and we need to figure out how to leverage it. No question, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's got to be done today. So to that end, Liana, how can our audience find you after today's show? Because they need to contact you immediately.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, LinkedIn is amazing. I'm on LinkedIn. You can just connect with me there and send me a message. You can also call me. The number is everywhere. You can call us, schedule a call with me directly. Instagram, I'm super friendly. I'm like, I can be one-on-one. I'm personable with you. I will respond to your message. It's not a problem. And so I'm here for it. Any questions you have, please reach out. It's very easy to find me.
Awesome. And we can find you. All of the links are going to be in the show notes to your Instagram, to your LinkedIn, to your store.
Yeah.
All
If
of
you
the
go down on my Instagram right here, if you go back on my Instagram page, you'll see my avatars, by the way.
Okay.
How good are my avatars? Scroll down just a little bit. Just look at these avatars. Look how good all of it. And I just posted this today.
Wow. And that's not even you.
That is not even me. That is not
Holy
even
moly. That is fantastic.
Saves time and just gets it done for you guys. If you want to 10x your visibility, this is the easiest time to do it right now on social media.
I love it. What a fantastic example of showing just how easy it can be and how realistic it actually looks. So thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and words of knowledge with us. The golden nuggets are truly nuggeting. That's my new word. Liana, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Thank you.